And I think it was the same thing with relationships. Like first I had this impact of like, okay, if I'm not meeting someone and marrying them and having kids and all of that, like what should I hope for? Where's the magic? And then it took me a while to relearn. And now I think I'm pretty comfortable with not expecting things from relationships, either they are romantic, sexual, or just friendships, family and relationships and all of that. I'm not expecting like this crazy feeling of wanting to stay with someone forever or like having this urge that takes over you. I'm just like more calmly accepting that relationships are what they are, and I'm not expecting that someone, just because we live together, that we have sex, or just because we are family that we do this and this. I'm just more open to building the relationships from scratch to whatever we are in the need and what we desire for them.
Welcome to Normalizing Non-Monogamy, the podcast where we interview incredible people from all over the world to hear their personal journeys of self-discovery through the lenses of love, sex, and relationships.
Our mission is to show people that they're not alone and to inspire them to embrace their true selves so that together we can open minds and live authentically without shame.
We believe everyone's story is powerful and beautiful, yet it's important to remember that everyone does life a little bit differently, and that the views and opinions expressed by our guests do not necessarily reflect our own.
Additionally, we aren't doctors. Please consult a medical professional for anything regarding your health that you might learn about on the show. Enjoy!
Welcome to episode 437. We're Finn and Emma, and today we get to catch up with Mariana, who we first interviewed back in the fall of 2023 on episode 313. She joins us again today for a lovely chat as we catch up on what's changed for her over the past few years as far as relationships and polyamory goes. Plus, we get to talk about some new games she's recently created.
Yeah, I love when we get to bring guests back on to get an update. And one of the things that I think really sticks out to me in particular about today's interview with Mariana is that the structure of her relationships, who her partners are, and how she's doing polyamory hasn't really changed since we last talked. In fact, when we were exchanging emails about her coming back on the show, she literally said to us, well, a lot has happened, but not a lot has changed. And so today we get to talk about everything that's happened and shifted internally for Mariana over the last few years, and it's a fantastic conversation. So thank you, Mariana, for coming back on to share with us, and again, for doing the incredible work that you do.
Mariana also sticks around for an exciting twist on our new bonus question episodes that
We're already mixing it up. We're like 3 months in and twisting already.
We are. These bonus question episodes are available to our premium subscribers. If you're not familiar, our premium subscribers get ad-free podcast episodes plus a new 10 to 15-minute bonus episode every week where our guests answer some extra fun questions. Today, the questions we're discussing are from the games Mariana created. When we last talked to her, she had just released the relationship design game, and now she also has the sexuality design game and the community design game to offer as well. You can find out more information and grab copies of all three games by using the links in the show notes or by heading over to therelationshipdesigngame.com.
And there's another exciting update. As of literally a few days ago, you can actually get digital versions of all three games, so you can get them immediately and start playing right now with your friends or partners. Instantly.
Or community.
I suppose you can play the community design game with your community. Anyway, you can grab your copies right now, download them, and be playing in minutes. And if you use the discount code Emma at checkout, you also get a bit of a discount.
And again, if you stick around for the bonus question episode with Mariana, you get to hear all three of us answering questions from her games.
Ooh, we're stepping into it.
We do. A quick reminder that to get the bonus episodes and ad-free regular episodes, you can sign up for a premium subscription right on the homepage of our website, normalizingnonmonogamy.com. And now, for our premium subscribers, we're going to jump right into the interview with Mariana. And for everyone else, we have a few quick announcements.
The first announcement is that we are less than 2 months away from Relationship Recess. You've been hearing us talk about this for months because it's coming up and we're super excited and we want you to be there. So you are invited to join us. We are hosting a restorative retreat called Relationship Recess at a queer-friendly private property in Florida this May 1st to the 3rd, 2026, just outside Orlando, Florida. This event is going to be focused on nourishing connections and personal growth through the power of peer, authentic play, and deep deep exploration.
We've partnered with our friends from Multi-Amory and Gary Ware, who's a strategic play consultant, to bring you an amazing weekend. So what can you expect?
Tell them what they can expect, Emma.
I know. We kick off with speed friending and a few other activities to help break the ice. And then throughout the weekend, we'll have facilitated small group sessions digging into some of Multi-Amory's practical tools like microscripts and radar. And Gary is designing games and activities to help deepen our friendships and connections with others and to ourselves. Plus, Emily is hosting a karaoke party, Dedeker's leading a pinball tournament, and so much more.
And if you're thinking, well, I really just want to come and relax without all these workshops and play shops, well, we've got you covered there as well. The property we've rented is full of tons of different ways to unwind, relax, and just be. We've got human-sized foosball, pickleball courts, a hot tub, a lazy river, a movie theater, a giant water slide, canoes, kayaks, hammocks in the woods, a campfire, and more. I really just ran out of breath, so I couldn't keep naming all the things. This place is amazing.
Absolutely. Everyone is welcome, whether you're partnered, solo, or coming with your friends or polycule. This event is open to the public. However, our community members do get a discount. All of the meals, snacks, and drinks are included. And additionally, we have a discounted block of hotel rooms nearby exclusively for our guests.
So please head over to our website, normalizingnonmonogamy.com. Click on the banner at the top, and you can find out a ton more information about Relationship Recess. You can see pictures of the property. You can see videos. You can see a list of the schedule for the weekend. So again, everything you could ever imagine is over there. Plus, you can grab your tickets before the prices go up on April 1st.
Come and join us.
Go do it.
Next up, we also wanted to remind you that we lead a community full of 300 people socializing and supporting one another every single day. We host the community on a platform called Mighty Networks, and we have monthly community support Zoom calls, monthly virtual workshops, and in-person events as well, all for less than $10 a month.
Our next monthly workshop is coming up on April 9th. It is hosted by Reed Mahelko and April Curtis. It is called Pressure Play, How to Push, Pull, Squish, and Squirm Your Lovers to Ecstasy. Emma and I actually got to be at this workshop in person last year at the Bonobo Retreat. So we've seen these two do it live in real life, and it is absolutely incredible. So we've been working hard with them to get this lined up because we wanted to bring this all to you. So again, you get these workshops as a member of our community, and you can find out more information on how to join the community over on our website, normalizingnonmonogamy.com. Click on the community tab. The other thing you can do while you're there is click on the workshops tab, where you can actually see the full description of this workshop, plus all of the other workshops we have coming up the rest of the year. Plus, you can see all of the workshops we've had earlier this year and last year, because as a community member, you also get recordings of all past workshops. So really, you don't want to miss out on being a part of the community. It's fantastic. And two other little perks that we haven't mentioned is you get a discount on Relationship Recess, and you get the premium subscription that we were telling you about as well at the beginning of the podcast for free. So you get a ton for like $10 a month. Come join us. We'd love to see you in there.
Next up, we wanted to tell you about our favorite way to get tested for STIs. It is stdcheck.com.
Shouldn't everyone have a favorite way to get tested?
I think so. Why not? It is a fast, easy, and discreet service. And when you use the links on our website under the resources tab, you get $10 off, making a 10-panel test only $129. And you support the podcast. So thank you in advance for using those links. We really appreciate it.
And the last thing we wanted to tell you all is that we would absolutely love to hear from you. Please send us an email if you have any questions, comments, feedback, or best of all, if you would like to come on the podcast, just like Mariana did. This podcast doesn't exist without people like you wanting to come on and share your stories to help normalize non-monogamy.
Novel concept, right?
I shut myself up for that one. I walked right into that one. So without further ado, we are going to jump. Well, actually, one more ado. You find out how to reach out to us over on the contact tab of our website. Once more, normalizingnonmonogamy.com. And now, without further ado, here we go to talk to Mariana.
Let's go.
Welcome back to the podcast, Mariana. We're super excited to chat today. It's been not quite 3 years, about 2.5 years since we last talked.
Yeah, a round 2 interview, update interview.
Round 2 update. So welcome back to the show. We're excited to have you here today.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be back.
Yeah, we're excited to get an update. And also, you've got some really great new games out and new work out in the world. So we're going to talk about that as well. But for anybody who doesn't know who Mariana is, do you mind just introducing yourself for the listeners today?
Sure. My name is Mariana, she, her, and I am now 33 years old. I'm from Portugal. That's where I usually live, although I'm now in Berlin because one of my partners is living here. I can talk a little bit about that later. And yeah, I would say I will call myself a relationship anarchist at this point, non-monogamous person, and yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Which was a lot of what we talked about in your last one. So it sounds like maybe overall the structure is somewhat similar to when we last chatted, but we're definitely gonna get some updates on it. But yeah, maybe for anybody who didn't listen to the last conversation, what maybe in just a couple of minutes, how did you discover non-monogamy? How did you get into it? And what did the first couple of years look like for you?
Oh my god. Yeah.
Yeah, just go, like all of that.
In 2 minutes, go.
Well, I'm not pretty sure. I think I started my non-monogamous journey like around 6 years ago now, maybe.
Mhm.
And when I first came to the podcast, it was a very hard time of my life where I was first having my like non-nesting partners serious relationship. So starting like a big second relationship, let's say.
Mhm.
And I was struggling a lot with that. And with I was struggling with everything concerning non-monogamy at the time.
Mhm.
So that's why I started the games project as a way to like help myself deal with all of those questions that I had. Um, and yeah, I still my life is still pretty similar to what it was back then in terms of like structure. I'm still with the same two partners that I was at the time. We are together now for 8 years and almost four, um, which was one of the reasons that I also wanted to come back to the podcast to show people that, yeah, it is possible.
Right? Right?
I didn't know. And yeah, now it seems possible that long, healthy relationships exist in non monogamy. And yeah, apart from that, well, as I said in the emails we've exchanged, a lot of things have happened, especially inside me, but not much has changed in terms of how my life is structured. So I really feel like I've changed a lot, but
Yeah.
except for some little details, everything is more or less the same. And I love it that way, actually. So I'm at a very good point in my life now.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing.
I love that, and I'm excited to dig in a little bit more. I would you mentioned that about 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, when we talked, you were non-monogamy, well, had been exploring for a couple years. You hadn't had that much experience in another more serious relationship and navigating that, and you said it was pretty difficult, and I'm curious if you're open to it, to talk a little bit about what that time was like for you and how did you start to navigate it?
Yeah, sure. Um, so it was very hard for me, especially, well, for many reasons, but I am a very, very anxious person. I'm now much better at it because I'm also like, I went to therapy for a long time and I'm medicated as well, which was like big, big change in my life. And at the time, I think that I was so hyper focused on the things that made me uncomfortable in my life that I couldn't really enjoy the other things that I was doing. And I couldn't even do much more than just ruminating on the thoughts of the things that made me uncomfortable. And what was making me uncomfortable was my own judgment of my life and the things that I thought people thought about my life. So I think that was the hardest part to navigate, especially when I was already non-monogamous, but because I only had like casual partners, I didn't really need to incorporate that in my life as much. So I could like hide it somewhat somehow, and then yeah, just building something more serious, or not serious, is not the best word, but more like important in my life. Took me through this journey of like having to deal with all of these hard emotions that I had. So yeah, I was thinking about it the other day, and I thought it was very much like learning to drive. At the beginning it was so uncomfortable and I could not enjoy it, and now it's like driving is such a relaxing thing to do, and I don't think about it anymore when I'm doing it. I just drive. And I think for non-monogamy it was exactly the same. Like in the beginning I was so obsessed about trying to uh, like dissecate everything about it and understand how it works and if I'm doing it right or not, what's the next step, and trying to think about all of the possible consequences of each of my actions. And while I still think about those things now, I can also enjoy the rest of the things in my life and kind of just like go with the flow. And that's a big change.
Yeah, I love that you said that. That idea that, right, like you want to just be in the relationships or in the dynamic and explore and have fun with it. And there's just so many of these things coming in. Like, is that the right thing? Is that the wrong thing? Is this right? What do people think about that? Like we're just
Well, you're learning so much.
yeah. Like everything is very methodical in those early stages of it, and it sounds like you're finding a little bit of a rhythm that's like, hey, I'm still I'm still conscientious. I'm not just blindly doing this, but you've like maybe a little more like autopilot kind of, you can relax a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. That's exciting to hear. And it sounds like a lot of that was getting some good therapy and also finding, you said, some medication for anxiety. It was just like, it sounds like it was a lot of anxious, intrusive thoughts coming in. Is that kind of?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was always anxious and I did therapy for a long time. But last year I had this huge flare up of psoriasis on my body. Like it took over my body completely. It was pretty bad. And I think that was the point that I realized that, okay, this is getting out of control. My body can take because I learned how to live anxiously, but I think my body was not taking it anymore. And it made a big change like on my skin and also on how I feel starting this medication process. And yeah, definitely this has been changing a lot in my life for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes our bodies just get to a point where they're like, nope,
Yeah, right.
time to make a change.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. How did it go navigating it? I know at the time you were living with one partner and starting to date someone else. And how did it go navigating those two relationships?
Yeah, in the beginning, so I was living with my nesting partner and I had a van. So I was spending a lot of time with my other partner in the van in Lisbon, where we used to live. And I still live around Lisbon, but yeah, my other partner lived in Lisbon before. So we spent a lot of years like that. And since then, he moved to Berlin, and that has been a big change also because now I came here a couple of times a year, maybe a month. I stayed for a month and then go back home for 2 or 3 months. And this also introduced like long-term relationship challenges to my life, but also made it so much easier because now I don't have to, you know, sometimes it was hard to be like on a date with one of them and then going back home and then trying to navigate this like these two different people in a very short amount of time and geographical places. So now it's more divided and it's easier for me to just being focused on one relationship at a time. And yeah, but also, of course, it comes with some other challenges.
Yeah. And I'm curious when you were before you kind of had to go back and forth a little bit and figuring that out. And at that time your nesting partner was also monogamous, is that correct?
Yeah, it still is actually.
He still is. Okay. So I was curious how that shifted. And then so this shift that you just talked about from being in person together, like navigating two relationships in one place versus two relationships in two different places. I feel like a lot of people often have the opposite experience, actually. We'll have a long distance relationship and then it comes closer. And I'm just curious to dig into this a little bit about the shift for you. And to start with, how has this change helped both of your relationships? and for yourself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just think that it helped because I can focus more on the place that I am at each time. So if I'm with one partner, I'm not stressing about like, oh, it's been 2 days that I haven't met my other partner. And there was a lot of weight that I was putting on myself. So I think that just having a arranged calendar, like trip to visit each partner makes it more easy for me to navigate that. Oh.
Yeah, like you can almost think about like for me, I'm looking at it like when you maybe have both partners in the same town, like you said, you're like, okay, I need 2 nights this week here and 2 nights here, and how do I make sure all that works? Versus you can kind of be like, okay, for this next month, I'm in this relationship. I'm very present. It's not that you probably don't talk to your other partner, but like the focus is there and then the focus is here. Like you can put the focus a little bit more intentionally in one place for a little bit longer period of time. Is that I'm kind of understanding that right?
That's exactly it. Yeah. And although, so my partner back at home is monogamous, right? Or at least he doesn't practice non-monogamy. And I think that I was pushing him a little bit to like accept this kitchen table polyamory situation that he was not so much comfortable with. And I just had to learn to accept that. And being in different places, it's actually easier because I always had this urge to like people that I love. I want to put them together, but it's not the same for everyone. And yeah, this was just a way that it worked out like this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm also kind of curious when you said your nesting partner that you've been with for now 8 years or so. When you two got together, you were monogamous for a little while, and then you opened up sort of on your side, and they stayed monogamous. In this other relationship now that you've been in 4 years, are they open on their end as well? Like, have you now had to navigate what it's like to be sort of a metamor and support your partner exploring non-monogamy?
Well, I really want to, but, and he also wants to, and he has dated casually some people. The first times it was a bit challenging for me, obviously, but I think I'm at a good place with it at the moment. But he's looking for it. So I guess being a polyamorous man, like looking for woman partners, is not as easy as the other way around. So I've been trying to support him in that way. And yeah, let's see. I still didn't went through like having one partner falling deeply in love with someone else and having to navigate that. So I still don't know. Maybe for a third round, I have something to tell you about that.
Yeah, you're not allowed back on unless you've gone through that experience. That's our new rule.
Okay, perfect.
Well, I think it's also shows that the relationship that all of you have built, like the web between all of you, it's working. It sounds like. For I know that your partner in Berlin sounds like he's dating and trying to find someone else as well, but that's part of the process, right? Is to date and to meet people if, unless somebody magically falls into your lap. But that the dynamic that the three of you have figured out is feels pretty good. Is that correct?
Yeah, I feel that we are not pushing things to be something that they are not. We are all pretty comfortable with where we are in our lives at the moment. And if some other relationships come up, we are open to it. And yeah, let's see. I'm also not for myself looking for other relationships actively. I'm pretty comfortable like this. I do date casually, mainly friends. Um, but yeah, I think for the moment we are all happy in this
Yeah.
situation, and open to new things if they come up.
Yeah, I love that. And you said a few minutes ago that sort of nothing has not nothing, but a lot has stayed the same, sort of in and around you, but that also a lot has happened and a lot has changed internally. And I'm curious, what are some of the things that you've felt for yourself over the last few years have sort of like maybe ways you've grown and changed internally that maybe people aren't seeing in your relationships around you, like looking in from the outside?
Hmm. Yeah, well, there's a lot, but um, I feel like the first big thing was, as I mentioned, dealing, like controlling anxiety a little bit better. And that, I think, helped a lot with me now dealing with life in a much lighter way. So I'm much more capable of like dealing with my own thoughts and not being so focused on what will happen in the future. And this has made me enjoy my relationships much more, not only to my partners, but also to my friends and family. I think that for a long time I was so scared of being with people that my social life was very not fulfilling. And I was putting a lot of weight on my partners because of that as well. And in the last year or two, I have been much more invested on my friendships or relationships that are not romantic, and my family as well. And yeah, this was a big transformation.
I love it. I love that. Yeah, I think part of the relationship anarchy model that a lot of people talk about is the more we talk to people who are doing this, is it's clearer and clearer that it's so much about my romantic relationships, my sexual relationships. Those are really no more important than my friendships, than my family, than every relationship sort of, it just is its own thing that we say, what are we going to do with this? What feels good to me? What can I do? What feels good to you? What can you do? And then that's what it is, rather than saying, well, hey, you've qualified for this level of connection with me, and that's what you get because we call it a friend. But this person over here, we call them a partner, and they get more, right? I love, the more we've talked to people about this, that's just become a lot more, I don't know, clear that that's, I've kind of just heard some of that in the threads talking to you, this time. And also it felt like you were sort of at the beginning of that when we last
Hmm.
talked, and you've like sort of really stepped into that.
Yeah, yeah, and that's I think why I also use the term relationship anarchist, not to um, label myself, because at some point I think I was so confused about relationships. I just like I felt like the romantic magic that for so long I believed in had like disappeared, and I was feeling kind of lost, like feeling like I was a I think your friend that came to Portugal to visit me once, that I met through you, he put it in a way that I thought it was really interesting, because I was trying to explain to him what I was feeling at the time, and he said like that it was like a kid that doesn't believe in Santa Claus anymore. Like when I was a kid, I used to believe in Santa Claus, and so Christmas was like this very magical time of the year for me. And since the moment that I realized he didn't exist, first, I was very mad at my
Spoiler alert,
family.
by the way.
Oh, sorry. um,
Just-
I was very mad at my family, but um, it took me a while to find like the magic in Christmas again, and for me that meant like spending time with the people I love and all of that. And I
yeah.
think it was the same thing with relationships. Like first, I had this impact of like, okay, if I'm not meeting someone and marrying them and having kids and all of that, like where's what should I hope for? Where's the magic? And then it took me a while to relearn, and now I think I'm pretty comfortable with not expecting things from relationships, either they're romantic, sexual, or just friendships, family, and relationships, and all of that. I'm not expecting like this crazy feeling of wanting to stay with someone forever, or like having this urge that takes over you. I'm just like more calmly accepting that relationships are what they are, and I'm not expecting that someone, just because we live together, that we have sex, or just because we are family, that we do this and this. I'm just more open to building the relationships from scratch to whatever we are in the need and what we desire for them.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love that analogy. Man, what a wise friend we sent you,
I
right?
know, right? For the listeners who don't know, we had a friend travel to Portugal, and we put the two of you in contact so that you, if it worked out, you could see each other and hang out, and it did. So that's wonderful.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah. I'm curious then, Mariana, coming back to the Santa Claus analogy, what, like for you now, then what is the magic? Like when it's not necessarily that I'm going to fall in love and get the house with all the kids and the pets and like, what's the magic for you now, the Christmas morning magic?
Mm, I think the magic is just being allowed to be creative in life and relationships, and that's deeply magic. Like there's if there's consent, everything is possible, and I think that's way more magical than whatever else I was doing before.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, try rather than trying to force it to be something based on some ideal that maybe both people don't even share, right? I think that's something we see too, where two people come in thinking we're supposed to do this and they're both trying to do something. And then later on have a conversation like neither of us even wanted that, right? We both thought we were supposed to want something or do something, but to be able to step back and just say, well, hey, I want these things, you want these things. Why don't we do those things? Even if they don't look like what other people think a relationship should look like we get to design it.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. And when you step outside of that relationship escalator model, you also like open up yourself to so many other options that people don't usually even know that they are around. For example, I've always struggled a lot with deciding if I want kids or not. And at some point, some months ago, I started thinking, well, maybe I do, but I'm not so sure. Then which partner should I do this with? Do they want that or not? And then somebody talked to me about fostering families. And now I'm looking into this possibility and I'm actually getting trained to be able to do it if I want in the future. And I think, yeah, there's so many other possibilities outside of um, the usual script that yeah, it's very cool to be able to explore and find out what we can do with this life.
Yeah, yeah. It's about thinking outside the box, right? And thinking about, we're going to talk about your game a little bit, but that having those types of conversations with your partners, but also with yourself and with family and friends and people in your life so that you can work to be creative and think about different ways of doing things. I love the example of kids, right? That's yeah, what other ways can I have children in my life that maybe fit me in a better way? And at some point, maybe you do decide to have children. That's option still there if you decide to, but like to be able to just be in that exploration.
Yeah, yeah, and this exploration is a big part of my life, not only in relationships, but also I'm very interested, and this is also what I'm doing with my job, apart from the games that I create. It's also I'm a designer and I'm a woodworker, and I'm part of this collective where we do a lot of arts and crafts, and we try to use this as a way to build an inclusive community, and we look for ways to well, for alternatives in general, alternative ways of producing and consuming in more sustainable ways, and exploring alternative ways of living in community. And um, so it's a wider range of, it goes beyond my relationships or my intimate relationships, let's say.
Yeah.
Mhm,
No, I
mhm,
love that.
mhm.
I love that. I'm I'm also curious a little bit about some of the shifts that you like bringing it back to your romantic relationships. I'm curious about this shift with you and your nesting partner. You were together, quite a few years living together. And I know like the structure maybe hasn't necessarily changed in the fact that you're still together, but it it's a big shift to go from we live together full time to every couple of months I'm going to be gone for a few weeks or I'm going to be gone for a month. And I'm curious how you two navigated that shift together because I can imagine there's some people out there being like, well, wait a minute. If all of a sudden my partner started like being gone for a month at a time to stay with their other partner, that would be a big shift in a lot of people's relationships. And I'm curious how you two navigated that.
hmm Well, first of all, my partner is the coolest person in the world. So he's, and I think we match very well in terms of like what I'm missing, he has, and what is missing, I have. So I am a very impulsive person, and I have a lot of ideas. I have ideas all day long, and I actually make them. I'm always doing different things, and I switch between passions all the time. And my partner, my nesting partner, is much more stable and like not so impulsive. And but the good thing is that he's very supportive of my way of being. And not only is he supportive, but he says that this is what attracts him in me. What? It's what attracts him. Yeah. Um, so I think that's a perfect match because then he's just supporting my decisions, and he also likes to be alone. He's not a very he's a bit of an introvert, and he's very dedicated to his craft. So he doesn't really deal bad with being alone for a few months. Also, like living together for so long and working together, we used to spend a lot of time in the same place. And I guess our relationship was actually needing some outside energy. So when I come and then I go back, we always have more stuff to talk and to. It's just exciting to be together again.
And I
Yeah,
love that. I love it. Sounds like the overall shift for you two feels like it was very positive.
yeah.
That
It kind of
he
works for both of them.
right
Both
that, and you said that it brought in some energy, and I'm curious. Maybe if you're open to talking a little bit more about that, like that you two determined or you kind of discovered that outside energy was something you were needing. And I think most people wouldn't really think to go like, well, yeah, maybe us living apart for you know, a month every 3 months would actually bring us closer together. And I love to hear that sounds like that's kind of what happened.
Yes, definitely. Actually, for some time, I even thought about moving out of our place when some years ago, because I always felt that spending so much time together was a bit too much. Actually, I got my own room, which was already a big difference in our life. So we now have separate rooms because I was just feeling a bit claustrophobic, sharing a room with a person every night. So this was already the beginning of us needing some time apart to make our relationship work better. And now with this Berlin situation, it makes it even easier, and definitely makes our time together way more. We just appreciate it much more because just at some point we were 24 hours together, and neither our romantic life or our work life was it wasn't good for that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, the idea I think of like intentional time, right? When we're together, not when you're together now, it's a lot more intentionality. Even just like moving into a separate room, I see that. We've again talked to a lot of people who've gone this route, and it's like, yeah, the nights when we sleep together in the same bed, we're doing that intentionally rather than just every night we go on autopilot and we crawl into bed and we go, oh, good night, sweet dreams, and we roll over. But like now we're intentional. Like, hey, tonight we're doing this, and tonight we're doing this, and like this is how we're going to spend our time together intentionally.
Yeah, or just a little cuddle in the morning. I show up and and it just feels nice and intentional. And I can still watch movies until late without annoying him. And move all I want in bed, and that's just more comfortable in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes sleeping alone is really needed.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
I love this. I think again, I know we and probably a lot of the listeners of the show don't necessarily have these mindsets, but or this viewpoint, but I think it can be easy to look in and say, well, you're now spending huge parts of your time apart, and you're not in sleeping in the same room or even the same bed, and you're taking more space, but yet that's actually brought you closer together.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really amazing just to and longevity, right? You're still together 8 years later, right? This isn't you're not on your way out. You're working towards how do we keep being stronger, more intentional, and deeper in love than how do we slowly separate.
Yeah, and I think for a long time I was worried that we were drifting apart, but then I realized I was not feeling that we were drifting apart. I was worried that other people thought that we were drifting
Mm.
apart because they didn't see us together as often. And yeah, I just had to. I mean, it's not that I still think what people think about our relationship, but I just don't give it so much
Yeah.
importance anymore because it was just bad for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Which leads me to the question of last time we chatted, you hadn't talked to many people outside of your relationship about your relationship structure. And I'm curious, has that changed? How has that journey been?
Yeah, so that also changed a lot for me. Now, when I meet someone new, I usually bring it on. So I take it off make it easier in the future because it was the hardest part for me. It was to talk about this with people that I knew for a long time. So now, usually, I try to do that when I meet new people. And then for the people that I already had in my life, I opened up to some of them, and to others I just realized I actually don't have to, because it's a very personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
not going around and asking to people if they, I don't know, if they are having sex with their partner or not. And I think a lot of times it comes up to this because when people ask me like, oh, is this your boyfriend? And I want to say I don't want to answer to that question, actually. I prefer to just call everybody my friend and or partner, but I just friend just makes it easier for me because then it's such a huge weight and expectation on the word boyfriend and girlfriend. Then what are you asking? If we have sex, if we have commitment, if we live together? Because I do have sex with people that I'm not committed to, and I committed to people that I don't have sex with. So this label makes it, I don't know, it doesn't say anything about my life to other people. So I just, yeah, I try to stop using those labels, and I also stopped like mm, pushing myself to be completely open about my relationship dynamics, because I think it's just a personal thing and it's not necessary to bring it on all the time. But through with my family, yeah, I'm not completely open, but they kind of know about it. And now that I'm thinking about it, this was like my bloopers idea, but maybe I'll tell it right away.
Yeah.
So my parents kind of knew that I was non-monogamous, but I never told them. I just gave some hints. But I think they're like modern parents somehow. So one day I was here in Berlin, and my mom called me, and I was driving, and she asked, "Yeah, how are you? Where are you staying?" And I just said, "I'm staying at this friend's home," and I was referring to my partner. And we talked for a little bit, and then I said goodbye, and I was expecting her to hang up, but she didn't. And my father was just saying next to her, and I could hear my father asking my mom like, "Oh, so now she's in Berlin and staying at this guy's place, but what about her boyfriend back home? How must he feel? Blah blah blah." And my mom was just like, "Ah, don't worry, you know they're non-monogamous." And yeah, so at this point, I turned off the phone because I didn't think it was ethical to keep hearing the conversation. But I was just so happy that I didn't have to actually like come out and say, "Hey, mom, dad, I'm non-monogamous." I didn't really want to have this conversation, but I found out they know, and it was just okay, cool. This is done.
I love that. Have you had a chance to talk to them since? Like, have you brought it back up, or were you just like, we're just going to leave it? Like, we'll just leave it like that.
I mean, we have a pretty close relationship. They know where I sleep most of the time.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't go much in depth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it sounds like the door is open. If they were to come to you with questions, it would be a conversation, right? But it sounds like they're handling it on their own too, and that it doesn't need to be more right now.
Yeah, for sure. If someone asks me, I am completely open to answering. But because I also got myself into some uncomfortable conversations, like oversharing, I now prefer to wait on people's
Yeah.
questions and answer if they want to.
Yeah. No, I love that. Because sort of even just in asking the question, it brings to mind the idea that, right, if I almost love the fact that your parents, it's just like almost so normalized that it's not even a topic, right? You just like, well, they kind of know, we don't have to talk about it. They've accepted it. And I could, like, I think about like inverting it, right? And if your dad had hung up and non-monogamy was the default, right? To be like, why isn't she sleeping over at this other person's house? Like, well, they're monogamous. That's how they do it, right? So like we can take this and invert it, and it doesn't make any sense because of
Yeah,
how we're conditioned. So I actually love the fact that they're just like, hey, we don't need to talk about it. We don't need to dive in. We love you. We care about you. We know, and we just don't have to go there. Like, I think that's great too.
yeah, exactly. I'm not sure how much they accept it or not, but I just don't want to know. Also, they accept me, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's enough.
I'm also curious the last time we talked that you were worried about your partner's family, and if that around for you was more like I get to choose who I want to tell and I don't have to share it if I don't want to.
Yeah, that's the same. Like with them, I'm pretty sure they don't know. But I just don't spend so much time worrying about that anymore. But for example, with this fostering situation that I'm now thinking about, I actually came to the conclusion that I might do it alone because my partners are not very interested in that, and I might move to another house for a while to do this. And yeah, so this would be already like a big change that the family would obviously be aware, and this would be communicated to them. So I think slowly, like also the fact that I spend so much time in another country, people are slowly understanding that I'm pretty different from. We live in a small town, so our relationship is different. They already noticed that for sure. We are not doing the things the same way they did, and I have no idea if they know what non-monogamy is, or like, yeah, probably they don't. I'm not sure. So I think that would be like a big bomb if we just came up and tell them. But yeah, maybe we just don't need to go in much detail. And if they find out, I mean, whatever.
Yeah. You will it's just testament to show that each of us is on our own journey about who we tell, when we tell, how our own journey with that, and we have choice, and it also is how much we talk about it, right? And you'd be open to the conversation often if it comes up, and also you don't feel a need to just to um flaunt it or display it, I guess, in some way. Yeah.
Yeah, and we don't need all to be the speaker for non-monogamy or for any other question. Like some people have that, they feel easy on that, and that's great. I'm so happy that there's people like what you're doing, like just inviting all of these people and speaking about your own experiences as well for the rest of the world. But not all of us have to do it, and some of us do it in a different way. Like I made these games to help people talk, but I don't actually give my face to promote them because it's just a very private thing of my life, and I'm trying to help in other ways.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think one of the things about what we do, and even like the name of our show, right, normalizing non-monogamy, I think, there is one side of that coin can be screaming it from the mountaintops and saying, here we are, look at us, this is how we do it. Representation matters. And I think there's this other piece of doing the day-to-day life and doing it in a way that's, you know, not so in your face, and just when people find out, they're like, oh shit, I had no idea that was a thing you were doing, because you don't you know you don't look a certain way, you don't act a certain, you just are. And I think that is also a really powerful way for people to learn about something and be like, oh wow, I've known you for a while and I didn't know this was something going on. Like, it doesn't have to be a big deal. Like, I feel like
Mm.
that normalizes it in its own way. And that's, I think, a lot of
Yeah.
what I get in talking to you is you're just like, yeah, I mean, I just kind of do it and it just works and we do our thing and it feels good. And I think that's really amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly. As you said, like normalizing something is doing it as a normal part of our lives. While it's important to talk about it, it's also important to act normal around it. And
Yep.
yeah, that's the phase of my life that I'm at
Yeah.
the moment.
Perfect.
Yeah. And I'm curious too about your game. And I know last time we talked, you had just developed and designed the relationship design game. We talked about that last time, and now you have a few other card decks. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about what inspired you to create the additional ones, how it's gone, and all of that.
Yeah. So the first one, well, you probably can listen to the other episodes to learn more about it. But it was a very personal project in the beginning. And I tried to get together all of these insights, not only from myself, but from other people's experiences as well, to offer this tool that helps you create like a visual map of the relationship that you want to build together. And the first game, it talked about many different aspects of life that concerned intimate relationships. So sexuality and family, but also finances and social life and honesty and things like that. And people received it really well. And I think I'm pretty sure, or I'm sure actually, that it was very important to a lot of people. And that made me feel so happy. And I wanted to keep going and produce some more tools like this to help people. And the second one that I launched was the sexuality design game, because I made some, I was asking around like what people feel the need to talk more, and sexuality was what I got the most like need for. So I made this second game that works exactly as the first one, but the subject is centered around sexuality, and not only about sex, but also like other sexuality aspects, like how you feel about your body, your how comfortable are you about expressing pleasure? How do you feel about the other person's body? Like, what are your beliefs concerning sexuality? What's important? What's not? What's your boundaries? And all of that. And then after the sexuality design game, a lot of people were like, well, yeah, but maybe I'm a relationship anarchist, or maybe I'm not in a romantic relationship or sexual relationship with anyone, and I still want to be able to design my relationships with other people. And that's when the community design game showed up. This is a game that works as exactly the same way as the other two, but is directed for any kind of group of people. So it could be a family, it could be a polycule, it could be a group of coworkers or roommates or people that are in a collective together, for example. And it will help you like discuss. Just it will help you not fall into the like pre-mold of how a group should organize itself, and it will help you decide on how do you want to relate. Do you have a hierarchy? How does that hierarchy work? Do you talk about everything? What things you want to talk about, or what do you want to avoid? Or do you have beliefs that align, or are your values in the same place or not? All of these dynamics that we usually just automatically do, and actually it's you can question them and just design from scratch how this interaction will
Yeah.
work.
Yeah. Another way to be creative with relationships in general, both intimate relationships and a romantic sexual partnership, as well as in relationships with groups and family structures and friends.
I love it. Well, I'm super excited to get the new games out there and to get to talk a little bit more and hear a little bit more of an update from you as well, Mariana. And for anybody here who's a premium subscriber, we've talked, and we're actually going to play a little bit of some of these games in our bonus
Yes.
segment. So
Yes.
you'll be asking us some questions. We'll be asking you some questions. So anybody who wants a little more can stick around for that. But before we let you go here, is there anything else that you wanted to share out into the world? Well, you got the mic.
No, I think we covered pretty much everything that is going on in my life at the moment. I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting some stuff, but well, yeah.
That's what
For
part
the
3 is
moment.
for.
That's okay.
Exactly.
That's part 3. Once you've gone through your crazy bouts of jealousy and watching your partner go through NRE and fall in love, we're going to bring you back, and it's going to be a whole new world.
Can't wait for it.
I love it. Well, thank you for being here, Mariana. And again, for anybody who wants to get a little bit more, we're going to jump over to the premium subscription, which you can find links to join in the podcast show notes. But yeah, thank you for being here, Mariana.
Thank you for having me. It was really nice.
And we're back. Thank you.
Same timer.
Yes, same timer. Thank you so much, Mariana, for coming on and sharing an update with us. It was lovely, as always, to chat with you. And thank you so much for the amazing work you've done with all of the games. We're excited to get more people out there playing them.
And a quick reminder, if you want to hear us play the game with Mariana, you can go sign up for the premium subscription for just a couple of bucks a month. Again, all that information is right on our homepage, and you would have instant access to listen to us play.
Yes.
And then you can
in the bonus episode.
And then you can go over to the relationship design game or the links in the podcast show notes and get your digital copy of the game with a discount.
All 3 of them.
All 3 of them. And then you can play immediately. So like within minutes, you could listen to us play and play yourself.
Yes.
So go do that. And again, a thank you from my side as well, Mariana, for coming back on, for sharing your story, and for the beautiful games you've put out into the world.
A couple of reminders before we let you go. First up is our next in-person retreat is coming up very soon, May 1st to the 3rd, 2026, outside Orlando, Florida. It is called Relationship Recess, and tickets are on sale. You can go find out more information over on our website, normalizingnonmonogamy.com, banner at the top of the page or the pop-up, or click under events. You can find it. It's everywhere.
Well, the pop-up's gone, but it's all right.
It's all right there.
Everything else you said was right on. Just no more pop-up.
The price increases next week, April 1st, so you're going to want to go and grab your ticket now.
And if you need the pop-up back, let me know. If that's the deal breaker for you, like I was going to come, but there's no pop-up, let me know. I'll turn the pop-up back on.
Okay, yeah,
and we will see you in Florida.
Maybe it's actually a better thing. The pop-up can be annoying.
Let's stop it.
So, like, it's
the other thing we want to tell you all about is our next workshop for our community. We told you briefly about this in the intro, but it is coming up on April 9th. It is with Reed Mahalko and April Curtis, and we're calling it Pressure Play. Well, they're calling it Pressure Play, how to push, pull, squish, and squirm your lovers to ecstasy. This is a fantastic workshop. We actually got to see it in person last year, and we're super excited about all of you being able to get it virtually. So to join us for that, you would just need to join our virtual community for like $10 a month or less, and you can find out all of that information over on our website under the community tab.
And next week, we're coming back at you with an interview with Misha, so you're going to want to come back and listen.
We'll see you all next week.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for listening.